Hello, good morning. Welcome to this superb edition of Super Breakfast Sports with me, Mary J, on your number one family lifestyle talk and urban radio, Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt. Today is Saturday, the 24th day of September 2022. On the Breakfast Sports Show today, we'll be looking at how Africa's representatives to the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup are faring during this international window. We'll also spare a moment to talk about their chances at the World Cup finals. Are the African teams ready? Do they seem ready for the 2022 FIFA World Cup? And how far do you think they can go? A couple of days ago, former Al Khali manager, South African Pitso Mosimane, says African coaches can do well. Reminder, all African teams to the World Cup will be headed by African coaches for the very first time in the history of the sport. So we're asking you, how far do you think they can go? Elsewhere, Germany were beaten by Hungary at home in the UEFA Nations League, and the Three Lions of England have now been relegated from the Nations League. So we want to get your thoughts on all of this, most of the international friendly games and Nations League games from yesterday. We'll be joined by a friend of the house, Okwi Osakwe, for these discussions on the Breakfast Sports this morning. Of course, you know how we do it. We always like to hear from you. Head on to our Facebook, where we're live streaming right now, at Super FMPH on Facebook, to drop your comments, also be a part of the program. For the live stream, we're also live streaming on our mobile app. Head on to your Play Store. If you do not already have the mobile app, head on to your Play Store and search for Super FM Global. You can watch our live stream and also contribute on the program. We also throw the phone lines open as well as receive text messages from you on WhatsApp. Without wasting any more time now, vamos. Now we'll kick off the program talking about international friendly games as it concerns Nigeria. Alex Iwobi and Cyril Dessers were on target for the Super Eagles of Nigeria in the 2-2 draw against Algeria B team in a test game played in Constantine yesterday, Friday, in Algeria. The Algeria B side went into the break 1-0 ahead through Karim Aribi, who plays for Seattle Belouizdad. And then Alex Iwobi equalized for the Super Eagles, while Cyril Dessers got the second goal for Jose Pesero's side. The Algeria B team got their second goal off the boot of USM Alger striker Aymen Mahris. The Super Eagles starting 11 had Madika Okoye no William Ekong, Valentine Ozowafo, Ebube Duru, Chidozie Awaziem, Frank Onyeka, Chidera Ejuke, Ralph Wadike, Ademola Lukman, and Taiwo Awoniyi. There were also some of the first-team players on the bench, the likes of Moses Simon Kelechi, Hanacho, Alexander Iwobi, Calvin Bassey, Kenneth Omero, Zaidu Sanusi, Xavier Godwin, and Terem Murphy. The game ended 2-2, no winners, but the Algeria B team were strong enough to hold the Super Eagles to a 2-2 draw yesterday in Algeria. The bigger friendly game will take place on Tuesday, the Super Eagles versus Algeria, but this time the 18. As a result of that match, Xavier Godwin has expressed his delight after making his debut for the Super Eagles in their 2-2 draw against Algeria's B team in the test game yesterday. Godwin came off the bench to earn his first ever appearance as goals from Alex Iwobi and Cyril Dessers earned his Eagles a draw against the 2022 Chan-bound team. And speaking after the game, Godwin said in an interview, and I quote him, "It was really amazing for me to play my first game for the Super Eagles. I feel really excited. We had a test game. This is good for everyone to get to know each other and get ourselves better." Another man who expressed his delight at making his Super Eagles debut was Adeleye Adebayo, goalkeeper Adeleye Adebayo, who expressed his delight for making his debut in the Super Eagles game, a 2-2 draw against Algeria B team yesterday. The goalkeeper took the place of Madika Okoye after the break. Some more issues of a national concern as it concerns, football in the country. Head coach of Nigeria's under-17 female football team, Bankole Olowokere, has selected team captain Alvin Dazosu, midfield Joel, Taiwo Afolabi, and top scorer Opeyemi Ajekayi as part of Nigeria's 21-girl squad for this year's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup Finals. Players and officials are scheduled to depart the shores of Nigeria on Monday, 26th of September for a 10-day training camp in Turkey before the delegation will jet off for India from Istanbul on the 6th of October. Matches of this year's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup will take place at various stadiums in India. Nigeria's first match of the campaign is against Germany in Goa on Tuesday, the 11th of October, starting at 8 p.m. Indian time. That's 4 p.m. here in Nigeria. The Flamingos will then square up to New Zealand on Friday before flying to Bhubaneswar to take on Chile on Monday, the 17th of October. Here are the list of the players called up to the camp. Goalkeepers include Faith Omilana, Linda Jiwaku, Jessica Inyama. The defense is made up of Olamide Oyin Lola, Josephine Dafe, Comfort Forunushaw, Miracle Osani, Tumininu Additional, Blessing Sunday, Alase Atkavel, Immaculata Ofyong. The midfield department is made up of Chidera Okenwa, Blessing Emmanuel, Maria Deremi, Bisola Mosaku, and Taiwo Folobi. And then up front we have Omoumi Bello, Opoyemi Ajakai, Edidion Getim, Alvin Dad Zosu, and Yetunde Ayato Shaw. As the Falconet, the Flamingos of Nigeria paired in Group B alongside Germany, Chile, and New Zealand. Other groups, Group A has host India, USA, Morocco, and Brazil. Group C is made up of Spain, Colombia, Mexico, and China. And in Group D, we have Japan, Tanzania, Canada, and France. Now to some of the bit of sporting stories from across Nigeria before we head on to international sporting stories. The Delta 2022 National Sports Festival has been postponed. The multi-sport event, which was originally billed for the 2nd to the 15th of November 2022, has now been shifted to commence on the 28th of November and will last till the 10th of December 2022. This was contained in a statement from the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development signed by Peter Nelson and tagged Notice of Postponement of the 21st National Sports Festival Delta 2022 addressed to all commissioners of sports and directors of sports across the country. The statement in part read, and I quote, "I wish to convey the request of Delta State Government to shift the date of the 21st National Sports Festival earlier scheduled to hold from 2nd to 15th November is now shifted to commence on the 28th of November to the 10th of December 2022. The postponement is to give more time to complete some facilities for the festival. We regret any inconvenience this might have caused you," end of quote. The National Sports Festival this year will be the 21st edition. Team Delta topped the medals table at the last edition of the National Sports Festival, while Team Edo, who were the host, came second, with Team Bayelsa finishing in third place. Now to basketball story. Mali suffered a second defeat in as many games as they were thrashed 118-58 by host Australia on Friday at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Having suffered an 89-56 loss to Japan on Thursday, the African runner-up champions lost every quarter against the Australians by at least 10 points, culminating in a 60-point whitewash at the hands of host Australia. Mali are only playing in the tournament because Nigeria, who qualified after winning the 2021 Afrobasket Women's Championship, were withdrawn by the federal government owing to what they later called unending drama in the country's sport. Now to some bit of information from athletics, cannabis, otherwise known as marijuana, will remain a banned substance in sports after a review by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. Remember that American sprinter Sharika Jackson was ruled out of the Tokyo Olympics after receiving a 1-month ban for using the drug last year. WADA agreed to review the cannabis ban after requests from stakeholders, but it decided on Friday at a meeting of its executive committee to maintain the ban because the use of the drug, quote, violated the spirit of sport. The ban for recreational drug use by athletes who test positive out of competition was reduced from 2 years to 1 to 3 months last year. In the UK, cannabis is a Class B drug and possession carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison and an unlimited fine. The organization also announced that the painkiller Tramadol is to be added to the list of banned substances for athletes in competition from 2024. Still from the offices of the World Anti-Doping Agency, World Athletics has put 7 countries on its new competition manipulation watch list. It follows an Athletics Integrity Unit AIU investigation into 17 reports of suspicious results in qualification for the delayed 2022 Tokyo Olympic Games. The countries in question are Albania, Armenia, Georgia, Kyrgyzstan, Moldova, Turkey, and Uzbekistan. World Athletics said that it would work with the countries to improve and reform their competition procedures. Now to tennis. Roger Federer was beaten in his final ever tennis match as the Swiss legend and Rafael Nadal lost out to Jack Sock and Frances Tiafoe in their doubles rubber at the Laver Cup. During a week which featured plenty of tributes and celebrations for Roger Federer, the team dubbed Fidal were beaten 4-6, 7-6, 11-9 by Team World duo of Francis Tiafoe and Jack Sock in London last night. Federer and Nadal received an emotional standing ovation as they walked out together in front of a sold-out O2 Arena in London. Seconds after the match, there were tears from Federer as the crowd stood up for him, and he was congratulated by his fellow players. Let us hear from the emotional Roger Federer last night.
Look, it's been a wonderful day. I told the guys I'm happy. I'm not sad. So feels great to be here. And I enjoyed tying my shoes one more time, and everything was the last time. And funny enough, with all the matches and having the guys and being here, fans, family, friends, didn't feel the stress so much, even though I did think something was going to go. I am so happy I made it through, and the match was great. I couldn't be happier, so it's been wonderful. And of course, playing with Rafa on the same team and having the guys, everybody here, all the legends, Rocket, Edberg, Stefan, thank you.
Emotional scenes from last night as Federer, took to the court as a professional tennis player for the very last time. Now, in the midst of all those events, play was briefly halted when a man ran on court and set his arm on fire during the Laver Cup, one of the Laver Cup matches at London's O2 Arena last night. The man protesting about the use of private jets in Britain sat down and lit a substance on his arm during the match between Stefano Tsitsipas and Diego Schwartzman. Security personnel acted quickly to drag the man off court before play resumed, following a quick check to make sure the court surface had not been damaged. The man, who made his protest during the second set of the match, wore a T-shirt with the slogan "End UK Private Jets." British media reported that he was a member of the End UK Private Jets group, which claims carbon emissions in 2022 are genocide. Tsitsipas went on to win the match 6-2, 6-1 to give Team Europe, at that time, a 2-0 lead over the rest of the world. And on that note, I'd like to welcome Okwi Osakwe to Super Breakfast Sports this morning. Good morning to you, Okwi. Welcome to the show. Good morning to you, Okwi. Can you hear me? All right, a little bit of an issue there with the connection. We will try to re-establish that with Okwi as soon as possible to get on with our big discussions, which centers around football stories. But in the meantime, before we head on to the international football stories, Chilean tennis coach, also from tennis this one, and former player Sebastian Rivera has been banned from the sport for life after being found guilty of a record 64 offenses of match fixing. I think we've been able to reconnect with Okwi Osakwe. Good morning to you, Okwi. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Okwi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Merit, loud and clear. Good morning.
All right. Good morning to you. Welcome once again to Super Breakfast Sports. And we're doing a review of the international games played over the course of yesterday and the day before. Some exciting results. Well, not very exciting for our Ghanaian friends and brothers who, peeped us to the World Cup ticket. Richarlison scored twice, and Ghana were comfortably beaten by 3-0 against Brazil yesterday. And it wasn't just Ghana who were in action yesterday. Some of the African teams that will play at the FIFA World Cup were in action. Uzbekistan surprisingly beat Cameroon by 2-0. And Morocco, also on the part, defeated Chile by 2-0. Tunisia were 1-0 winners over Comoros. Senegal will play later today. In a nutshell, what do you think of the performances of these African teams heading to the World Cup, starting from the one between Brazil and Ghana?
Okay. African teams, the Ghanaian one was very disappointing, given the fact that, but it wasn't surprising because they've not had any games since the CHAN qualifiers, so they've not really had any games. And of course, you know that the CHAN team is not the one that will play in the World Cup. So for the Ghanaians, not organizing any friendlies for their team, just one. Next opponent is Nicaragua. So I don't know how they picked these friendlies. They've lost to Brazil and they're playing against Nicaragua next.
Yeah, not very, strong. Nicaragua, maybe just to get back in the wins after a difficult game against Brazil. It was last night. But Cameroon, host of the AFCON this year, went on to pip some of the big teams to clinch that ticket. Samuel Eto'o Fils, new boss, running things in the FA in Cameroon, brought in a new coach, Rigobert Song, played against Uzbekistan, a game which you think Cameroon would naturally take the victory, but he lost by 2-0 to Uzbekistan.
Again, you would want to put that down to lack of preparations. Again, just like the Ghanaians, the Cameroonians have had just 2 games since the World Cup qualifiers. They beat Burundi in June. Just the Burundi, just one game before this one, they beat Burundi in June. And since June, they've not had any friendlies. Before losing to Uzbekistan, and they face South Korea next.
But then one would also ask, how many games have Uzbekistan played between that period of time?
Well, Uzbekistan is not going to the World Cup. So if you're going to prepare for the World Cup, you need to begin to get, these games under your belt. Play some grade A friendlies. Prepare the team, to play some of these games. Because playing against Uzbekistan and losing against Uzbekistan just sends the signal that the Cameroonians are not ready for the World Cup yet.
All right, maybe not ready for the World Cup, but Morocco, as impressive as they were before the AFCON, unfortunately, they didn't go all the way to win it. They beat Chile last night by 2-0.
Yeah, that's one of the shining lights of African performances last night. Morocco looks, of all of them, the one that Morocco and Tunisia look the ones that look to be quite ready for the Mundial. But the interesting thing about the Moroccans is that you don't replace your coach 3 months to the World Cup. No World Cup winning team would replace a coach 3 months to the World Cup. Replace the Vahid Halilovic, who qualified them for the World Cup in 3 months, and then replaced him with Walid Regragui. Not taking anything away from the African coach. He's the current. He took the Wydad to the CAF Champions League. He's a very good coach, but you don't sack your coach 3 months to an important tournament like the World Cup and hope to do well in the tournament.
Well, we'll see how it pans out for them. You talked about Tunisia, very impressive. They have gotten some, impressive wins. They beat Chile in the Kirin Cup semi-final way back in June, and then went on to the final and beat Japan. And on Thursday, they beat Comoros by 1-0. Senegal will be in action later today. They play against Bolivia. One of the things that piqued my interest was the comments from Pitso Mosimane a couple of days back. He talked about how much of a legend Stephen Keshi was. Of course, Stephen Keshi, the late Stephen Keshi, remains the only African coach to reach the knockout stages at a FIFA World Cup. And then he also talked about the possibility of that being, a trailblazer for other African coaches to follow suit, especially at this Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup, where we have for the very first time all African teams being led by indigenous coaches. Do you think, from what you've seen and maybe from what you hope to see from the teams and the quality of the side and the coaches, do you think there is perhaps any of these African nations that goes all the way, reaches the round of 16, and then also maybe break that quarterfinal jinx?
From what we've seen so far, Mary, because you want to judge with how the teams are prepared. From what we've seen so far, Tunisia, with their coach Jalel Kadri, seem to be the only ones that could go all the way to probably the round of 16, like you said, or the quarters, and then also Senegal. But the curious thing about Senegal is that they've not played since they were in COSAFA Cup in July, and I'm not sure that team that played in July in COSAFA Cup was the World Cup team. They've not played any game since then, and their next game is against Bolivia today, like you said. Well, like I said, of all of them that are going to the World Cup, all the 5 African representatives, 4 have made it past the first round in previous tournaments. Ghana were in the quarterfinals, Senegal were in the quarterfinals, Cameroon was in the quarterfinals in 1990, and then Morocco got to the round of 16 in 1986. Of all of them, only Tunisia has never been past the round of 16 in their past 5 in their previous tournaments. So we just hope that this time around. But for me, if I were to pick, I would just say Tunisia and Senegal. Pinning my hopes on Tunisia and Senegal to go past the first round. Remember, Senegal missed it they became the only team in history to be knocked out of the World Cup by the fair play rules. Because they were tied on points and everything. All the tiebreakers against with the guys who made it through that Japan in 2018 in Russia. So they missed it just by whiskers the last time around. But I'm sure this time they're going to get past the first round for themselves and Tunisia. For me, I want to put my money on Tunisia and Senegal going past the first round.
All right, thank you so much, Okwi, for joining us on the program this morning. Hoping to see you later on in the day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Merit. I'll be there by 2 p.m. today.
All right, he says he'll be here by 2 p.m., but the fun actually starts by 1 p.m. Super Weekend Sports here on Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt, and we'll have a lot of time, of course. It's the international break. We'll talk about national team football from Nigeria to the rest of the world. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., we will be here to take you through the world of sports as it happened during the course of the week, as it will be happening later today, and of course, things to look out for in the next week. We'll throw the phone lines open to get your reactions to these games. The Super Eagles playing out a 2-2 draw with Algeria B team yesterday. What did you make of that? And African teams trying to represent represent Africa at the FIFA World Cup. Ghana lost 3-0 yesterday to Brazil. Maybe expected. Uzbekistan surprisingly defeated Cameroon by 2-0. Morocco and Tunisia recorded victories of their own. Later today, we'll see Bolivia versus Senegal. What do you make of Africa's chances at the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup? 0705 079 1021 and 0811 743-1021. Those are the phone lines to call us by, and you can reach us as well on WhatsApp by sending your text messages on 0905-948-1021. We're taking thoughts as well on Facebook as well as our Super FM Global app. Time to hear from you. Time to get your thoughts through to us. And if you like to, comment on this as well, I think I might just put it out there. You already know Germany lost to Hungary 1-0 in Germany last night in the UEFA Nations League. And England have now been confirmed to be relegated from League A. So they will play in League B in the Nations League, whatever that means. It means they don't get to win the trophy anytime soon. But they lost, yes, 1-0 to Italy. It was their 5th game in the group. They have just 2 points from 2 draws. No wins. They have scored just 1 goal in 5 games and conceded a whopping 7. Well, Hungary sit up on top of that group, having won 3, drawn 1, and lost just 1. They have 10 points. Italy in 2nd place and Germany in 3rd place. What are your reactions to that game, or those games as well? But while we wait for your reaction, the reaction from England manager Gareth Southgate, surprisingly, it's not such a bad one. He says the performance last night in defeat to Italy was, quote, a step in the right direction. Well, don't ask me what he means by that, but that's what he says. Some little bit of information from elsewhere around the world of sports, even as we wait for your thoughts on the break for sports this morning. This coming from the Premier League, and it involves Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo has been charged with improper conduct by the Football Association for smashing a teenager's phone to the ground following a defeat at Everton last season. Ronaldo apologized to the 14-year-old fan via social media after the incident, which took place after United's 1-0 defeat at Goodison Park in April. The FA said in a statement that Cristiano Ronaldo has been charged with a breach of FA Rule E3 for an incident that took place after Manchester City's Premier League match against Everton FC. It is alleged that the forward's conduct after the final whistle was improper and violent. United said they would support Ronaldo in his response to the charge. Ronaldo was cautioned by the police in August regarding the incident. And to more charges, well, more than 1,700 Liverpool fans who claim they were injured or left with psychological trauma at the chaotic Champions League final are set to sue UEFA. This is according to lawyers. European football governing body is facing group actions over the final against Real Madrid in Paris. If you recall, UEFA delayed the kickoff by 35 minutes, certain security concerns. Liverpool law firm Bingham said clients had spoken of terrifying scenes at the Stade de France. Bingham's has teamed up with the global law company Pogo Goodhead in a lawsuit for 1,450 clients alleging negligence. A big one. Interesting to see how this one plays out in the coming days. All right, final chance to get your thoughts through to us, 0705 079 1021 and 0811 743 1021. We'd like to get your reactions on the performance of Africa's teams who will be playing at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. You can also, weigh in on the Super Eagles game and the defeats to Germany and England last night. Final bits of stories on the break for sports this morning. This is coming from athletics. Well, footballer in athletics, former World Cup winning football star Kaká, the Brazilian, will make his debut at the Berlin Marathon tomorrow, Sunday, saying he was just as excited as he used to be before football matches. Now, Kaká, who played for Real Madrid and AC Milan before retiring in 2017, said his father's struggle with COVID-19 had inspired him to run the marathon. Kaká's father and brother will take part in the family experience of the marathon. Kaká said marathons were particularly special as sporting events because amateurs can take part side by side with professionals. And that's why we'll call it a wrap on Super Breakfast Sports this morning. Like I already said, Super Weekend Sports will come your way by 1 p.m. and it will last the whole 4 hours till 5 p.m. We'll be talking about all the emerging sports stories around the world, from tennis and especially football. Thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast this morning. Hope to see you by 1 p.m. In the meantime, there are more exciting programs coming your way here on Nigeria's #1 family lifestyle talk and urban radio, Super 93.3 FM, starting off with the very topical Point Blank in just a matter of moments. So keep listening.
We are Super FM.
Everyone needs a superhero.
You've heard about it. It's real.
It is.
It's
Super FM, Nigeria's #1 family, lifestyle, talk and urban radio station.
Join the 100,000-man march for Peter Obi in Elemeland on Saturday, 24th September 2022. Time is 8 a.m. Take off